Hello friends, today we're going to talk about solving absolute value equations. Recall absolute value is the distance from the number 0 on a number line. Absolute value is always positive because distance always have to be positive. So if we're looking at the absolute value of -4, that's 4 because it's 4 spaces away from 0 on the number line. +4 is also 4 spaces away from 0 on the number line. And 0 is 0 spaces away from 0 on the number line. When we're solving an absolute value equation, so if there's a variable in there, it includes all the values for x that make the variable true. So like for our example 2 here, if the absolute value of x equals 6, that means x could equal +6 or x could equal -6 because both of those are 6 spaces away from 0 on the number line. So the absolute value of +6 is 6 and the absolute value of -6 is 6. So if we're going to solve an absolute value equation, we need to make the side that does not have the variable into the positive and negative version. Here, this example, it says the absolute value of x is -3. Well, we know that the absolute value of x, or the absolute value of a number, cannot be negative. So this is not possible. And in math, if something is not possible, we say that there's no solutions. So again, there's no solutions because of that negative there. Let's look at one that has something other than x. Again, we want to get the absolute value part by itself. So we're going to subtract first. First, we get rid of whatever is being added or subtracted on the outside of the absolute value equation. So then I have 2 times the absolute value of x equals 6. And then I get rid of whatever is attached on the outside of the absolute value equation. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2. And I get the absolute value of x is 3, which then means x is +3 or x is -3. Let's look at one more. Again, we get rid of the number that's not attached to the absolute value equation first, so I'm going to add 3. And then I get 5 times the absolute value of 2x plus 1 equals 35. Then I'll get rid of the number that is attached to the absolute value equation. Now I have the absolute value of 2x plus 1 equals 7. Now I can split it. Now that I have just the absolute value part, I can split it into 2 equations. So I'm going to say 2x plus 1 equals +7. And 2x plus 1 equals -7, and I'll solve both of these. So subtracting 1, we get 2x equals 6. Dividing by 2, we get x equals 3. Or subtracting 1, we get 2x equals -8. And then dividing by 2, we get x equals -4. If you so wish, you can always plug these numbers back into the original equation to make sure it works. So if I plug in 3, I have -3 plus 5 times the absolute value of 2 times 3 plus 1. And we want to know if that is equal to 32. So -3 plus 5 times the absolute value of 7. We want to know if that's equal to 32. Well, the absolute value of 7 is just 7. So 5 times 7 is 35. And we do get that both sides are equal. So I know that one works. I'm going to do the same thing for my -4. So -3 plus 5 times the absolute value of 2 times -4 plus 1. We want to know if that's equal to 32. 2 times -4 is -8, plus 1 is -7. The absolute value of -7 is +7. So I have -3 plus 5 times +7. Which again then gets us to -3 plus 35, which we know is equal to 32. So for these ones, you don't have to check your work, but if you want to check your work, you can, but you need to substitute it back in to the original equation, meaning don't put it in after you split it. So if you're going to check it, you need to check it with the original equation.